Everybody is fascinated by Starlink. I'm super happy. But if you are lucid, Mr. Musk is probably one of the guys of the world who had in his pockets the most billion, I mean, we had $1 billion of the American taxpayers in order to be subsidized. I mean, Elon Musk is first an over-subsidized guy by the federal agency in the US. Good news. He's super innovative. And he became competitive thanks to this American approach. He was financed by public money and private money, but a big bunch of Department of Defense among them. Second, he was preserved by an American preference, if you take the institutional launch for space industry. And he became competitive and came to our market industry. And if we don't have the right level of European public investment to have this type of federal program to put a lot of money, no chance we will be in the race. And we are super naive just to consider it's a startup among the others. It's totally bullshit. I mean, it was largely prepared, and it's a political program with a lot of public money.
Attention to the industry, but in this very difficult period, we need more than word, we need decision. European industry is squeezed between the West, where we have an unfair or an unbalanced trade agreement with the US, 20% devaluation of the dollar, and a very cheap gas price, just to seek a few examples. On the East side, we have China, who is now threatening more than 70% of our European industry with subsidies, huge capacity of production, and low labor costs. And all that is surrounded by a nice European organization that is still over-regulating everything. The pace of over-regulation has not reduced, despite all what the announcement. If you look the reality for industrial implementation of Draghi and Letta report, speed is close to standstill.
And I think it would be a huge mistake for the Europeans to say competitiveness means killing the Green Deal and the Green Agenda. I think it's honestly a stupidity for us because it's part of our competitiveness at the end of this transition. We have to make it compatible and without demagogy. So we should probably, and we have some technicality, which is to front-load all the ETS proceeds and to use them to accompany and to help the key countries we are very impacted, and especially projects to accelerate the decarbonization.
We are facing competition from the US, 15-0. China, not only with dirty products, they moved from imitation to innovation. They are investing in the best available technologies like EV or electrification. But there are also tariffs hidden inside the 27 member unions. I mean, we made the math, you know them, 40% for goods and 100% plus for services. So I hope that the single market dream of Delors is going to become a reality at one point of time and tap into the 450 million consumers you talked about, Mr. President. Well, the last word?
No, I think for me these four pillars are to be addressed as rapidly as we can. And one of the issue of the days and weeks to come is clearly to deliver this big acceleration. And clearly it's a question of life for some parts of our industry, and I'm extremely serious about that. But we have to be lucid as well on the fact that if we want to be serious on the deepening of the single market, even if we go super fast, it will take semesters and sometimes years. This is why we need super short-term measures. Reassessment of some regulations, acceleration on some simplifications, and acceleration. But today, what is at stake clearly is that some part of the European industry could disappear in the semesters to come if we don't take the right measures in terms of simplification and protection. And the de-risking is not sufficient to do so. And the investment is as well a necessity. This is why I really believe, and I will leave you on this very simple message, we need an holistic approach, what I call the speed approach. Simplification, protection, investment, de-risking. The four pillars of speed are the one we need. But we have to speed up as well our approach. Because if we don't deliver in the 3 to 4 months to come, I take your point. I cannot come back to see you next year to say, guys, I have a good news. I'm convinced, I'm on your side, and so on. My credibility will be totally killed. China is an authoritarian regime. I mean, no offense. This is their collective choice. And the US is becoming an unpredictable economy and governance. For companies and sometimes for countries. At the middle of that, you have the European Union. And it remains a place where rule of law and predictability remains valid. I suggest you to pitch that for your investors. Because if we are able to fix what we are discussing on the short run, what I mentioned is an extremely important leverage for our future. Because this is our ability to remain an anchor geography for a lot of investors.